Hey, this is Christian, and today I want to show you the 3 things that I wish I knew before becoming a developer. Alright, so I'm gonna make this screen smaller and I'm gonna start right away. So please stay until the end because I'm gonna show you a different perspective on this, and I hope it's gonna help you understand what's missing, what mistakes I've done, so you don't have to repeat the same mistakes that I have done, right? So there are 3 types of people. There are idiots, the ones that don't learn from their mistakes and they don't learn from others' mistakes. There are stupid people that only learn from their own mistakes, but they don't learn from others people's mistakes. And there are smart people, intelligent people that learn from their own mistakes and then from others people's mistakes. So it's not about not making mistakes, but learning from those mistakes and learning from failures so we can progress and become more successful and crush it at life. That's what we all want at the end of the day, I guess. I don't see a reason for not wanting to be the best you can, to be getting the most money you can, to be having the freedom that you want with web development. And some people are just thinking about web development like it's a job, right? And then yes, it is a job, but you have to look in the future, okay? You have to look at what kind of things web development can bring you, right? Maybe investments, right? Maybe you want to buy a house for yourself. Maybe you want to travel more, right? Maybe you want to have safety, security, okay? All these things can be provided by web development. Maybe you want to become a millionaire, right? And you have to learn how to create an app, right? You have an idea, you have a market for something and you want to create an application, and you have to learn coding so you can build something instead of paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for developers in the US, or maybe you pay someone from a third world country to build your app, and then you'll have spaghetti code and you don't know why the app is not working, etc., etc. And you might say, oh, how do you know? Why do you judge? Because I see that a lot, and a lot of people are complaining about that, okay? So don't come at me with this stuff. Anyway, so let's get into it. The first thing is fancy code. When I started, I was writing a lot of fancy code. And what does fancy code mean? Well, poor variable naming and function naming. I was all over the place. I wasn't explicit enough with the way I was naming my variables, with the way I was naming my functions. I had no structure in the code. I was doing things as I learned from different tutorials and from different resources. And I was kind of mixing all these styles of all these instructors that I was learning from, okay? And you might not see the consequences straight away because you don't have long-term thinking. As a junior developer, someone who never worked as a developer, someone who never actually built an application from start to finish, whatever that means to you. You cannot gauge, you cannot estimate how long it's gonna take for you to build something. You cannot estimate what has to be done in order for an application to be healthy long term, okay? And you see that because you don't have experience, you have. And I didn't know how to estimating and how to think long term, right? And I had no code reviews, and that ties in with the mixed styles, right? If I had someone to review my code, I would be writing code in a certain way all the time. Yes, you have to think outside the box with your logic, with your approach to solving problems to a certain extent, but you still have to follow structure, okay? A structure that can be understood by other developers. Following some guidelines doesn't necessarily mean that you won't be creative. And in the beginning, let's be honest, you will not be that creative because you have limited tools and limited experience, okay? And that brings me to my next thing, problem solving. I was searching for problems to solve instead of solutions to my own problems. What does that mean? Well, when you're by yourself and you have no idea of what you have to do, you search for problems that have been solved by others, and you are trying to learn how to solve problems by watching someone else solve problems. For example, instead of you creating your own calculator and having issues and difficulties and trying to find out how to build it piece by piece, you watch 50 people build that calculator, and then you think you learn it, you understand what the instructor says, but then when it comes to applying the knowledge that you've just seen in those tutorials or videos or courses, you don't know where to start, right? And that's because you are searching for problems to solve instead of solutions to your own problems, okay? And the next thing is studying too much. In the beginning, when you start out and you're a chicken, that's how I call it. Person that's just starting out is a chicken, right? They are overwhelmed by information. That's totally normal, okay? You are learning the ABCs of programming, functions, data structures, if-else statements, whatever. But then, because you have no idea, you have no micro challenges, you are not micro challenged, you start to think that you are not enough, you are not good enough, and you start learning more, studying more, hours and hours and hours. And that's just just binge watching. That's like watching Netflix, okay? Because your brain is not working. Your brain is at rest, okay? Your brain is just getting information in, okay? Your brain is not thinking, your brain is not solving problems in real time. So you have to get out of this thing as fast as possible, because you might be stuck in this phase for 2, 3, 4 years. And then if you are someone that's stuck for 3, 4 years into this mindset of just watching courses and trying to learn like that, well, you're never gonna make it, okay? If you knew what you have to do, it would have not taken you 4 years to land that first job. Okay, if you are studying for 1 year and then you cannot build any real world application, that means something is missing. Okay, and that brings me to the last point, which is staying into the comfort zone. I stayed too long into the comfort zone, and oftentimes when we think about comfort zone, we are thinking about someone that doesn't do anything, right? That's comfort zone. But you are studying, you are coding every day, but it's not really true. You are following the status quo, right? You are following the pack. You're not thinking for yourself. What does that mean? You see a lot of people doing the same thing over and over and over again. You see people stuck in tutorial hell. You see hundreds and hundreds of videos on YouTube on how to start, how to get out of tutorial hell. You see tutorials about how to get out of tutorial hell. Something is wrong there. Otherwise, this would not be a thing, isn't it? Something is wrong with the approach that the mass has on learning programming. And if you keep following what the mass is doing, you'll be getting what the mass is getting. All right, you have to understand this. Okay, then the next thing is ego, right? I thought I can figure it out, and I was lucky. I was lucky with getting my first job. Probably I was too lucky. I had 90% luck and 10% skills. Okay, and I wasted months of my life. Just think about it. Like, if you be on your path of becoming a developer, right? You've had a roadmap, you have feedback, you have support, you had all these things 6 months ago, where you'd be now? Probably you'd be ready to start applying confidently for a bunch of jobs, and you're probably getting a bunch of interviews. You could figure out what's wrong in the interviews and then pass the interviews. But if you keep going like this for another year, for another 2 years, you have to understand that opportunities are coming and going, right? There's gonna be another Bitcoin crash and you cannot buy the dip because you're not making dev money. That's one thing. Maybe you want to have a nice holiday somewhere in Italy and you cannot because you have to study. There are many things like this that you have to consider. And each day that's passing by, each week that's passing by, you cannot get it back. I think there is a quote by Buddha, and he said, the humans are stupid because they think they will live forever. And you'll not live forever, and I'm not gonna live forever. And I have to make sure that every single day I'm conquering the day. And I wasn't doing that when I was coding by myself, right? I was procrastinating, even though I was doing a lot of things. But you can procrastinate passively by not doing anything and watching mindless YouTube and watching cat memes. That's one type of procrastination. That's the common one or the obvious one. But then is the other type of procrastination where you do a bunch of things and then you don't get any results. We all know that person that's always dieting. We all know that person. For months and months they are dieting, they are working out, but they have no muscle, they have no pecs, they don't look like they are lifting. Why? Because they are procrastinating. They could have hired a coach, right? They could have hired a from the gym and they could have done it faster, right? But they are not doing that because they are not thinking long term. They don't have this perspective. And I'm gonna end this with, life is too short to be average. Look at everyone around you, and if you get advice from average people, you'll get average results. An average house, an average car, an average life, an average holiday, average food, average clothes, average phone, average watch, average everything. You have to look up to and be surrounded with people that want more from life than what the status quo says. You have to get out of your comfort zone and you have to be ready to be uncomfortable to get what you want. Then after you get the developer job, you'll get again into the comfort zone. You'll be studying more code to become a better coder. Probably you won't be doing that. Maybe you'll just chill out and watch Netflix. That's also a possibility. But what I would be doing is I would try to go for the next thing. I would try to challenge myself even more, right? That's how I see things, because I don't want to be average. And I hope you don't want to be average either. I hope that's why you're watching this channel, because you understand that there is more out there than what's being given to you, or than what's being presented to you. Okay, so that's it with this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please leave a like, subscribe. If you want to work with me directly and if you want to get really good at code really fast, there is a link in the description of this video somewhere here. Click it, book a time with me, date and a time, then we'll see if we can work together. Then I'm gonna show you how to get really good at code really fast. And yeah, that's it. Take care.